record button. So listen, guys, welcome to tonight's call, and really appreciate your time. And thank you for putting up with that little bit of drama in the beginning. But what I want to cover tonight is a goal-setting workshop. And, you know, to be quite honest with you, if you jump onto YouTube and Google, there's a million different goal-setting workshops that you can take. I've always sort of followed the lines of Jim Rohn, who is obviously one of our mentors through Herbalife. And, you know, Jim Rohn is one of the most well-renowned business philosophers in the world. So I tend to try and follow his guidelines with this. But setting and achieving goals is a really, really important thing, not just in business, but in everything. So what I cover tonight is not stuff that you just need to apply to your business, although I strongly recommend that you do that. But certainly in all aspects of your life, setting goals and achieving them, and we'll cover it a little bit later as I go through the call. It's not about just achieving the goals. It's about the person you need to become to achieve those goals, whatever those goals happen to be. So let's get right into it. And I just want to cover a few things with you. So tonight we're going to cover, you know, what it is that you want to achieve over the next 1 to 10 years. That's a nice little time frame to work with. It gives you some short-term goals of 12 months, and it gives you some long-term 10-year plans. Once you've got the goals, how to get a detailed description of what those goals are. And then the third part of it, which is the most important, is why. Why do you want that goal? Because at the end of the day, if there's not a real burning reason why you want, and when I say a burning reason, you know, for some people, it's that tingling experience on your skin. It could be that knot in the gut. It could be a number of different things, but there's got to be a really good reason why you want to achieve something. Because if you don't, the hurdles along the way are probably going to knock you over if you don't have a strong enough why. And we'll go through that as we go through the slides. So the first thing is to really work out what it is that you want over the next 1 to 10 years. And this gives you a little bit of a map to run on. And that's all really, you know, goals are. They're like a magnet. They just keep you on track because you've got a certain thing that you're trying to aim for, and it helps you stay on track when you get off track. So we're going to cover, you know, setting your goals in just a moment. I call this the circle of life. And, you know, this is what I've got in my goal book. That's the front page of it right there. And I guess for me and for a lot of people, these are the 6 main things that make up our, you know, our life, I guess, in the circle of life. Number one, your physical, you know, health, how healthy you want to be, you know, what physical state you want to be in, how you see yourself and so forth. Then you've got your social part of that, the things that you want to do with friends and, you know, going out and doing all that sort of stuff. Then you've got the spiritual side, depending on what you believe in. That's, you know, different for everybody. Then you've got the mental side, the side of what you want to do for your mental growth. Obviously, there's your family. And then there's finance and business. So when you really break down your life, it probably fits somewhere into those six segments. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So when you're doing goal setting, it really is talking about these type of things. So for example, physical, it could be, you know, I want to lose 5 kilos by X amount of time, or I want to be able to, you know, bench press 100 kilos, or I want to be able to run a kilometer or walk 5 kilometers, whatever it happens to be. You can set some goals from that. Social goals could be that, you know, you want to have a dinner party once a month. Maybe you want to catch up with a friend and play tennis once a month. Whatever your social things happen to be. It could be going out to the movies. It could be date night, whatever that happens to be. And as silly as it sounds, these are great things to put into place. And I know, you know, Carmen and I were doing that for quite a while. We haven't done it of late, but we need to probably get back to doing, you know, a date night, which is just a night that's penciled out. No kids, and you can have a few hours to yourself and stuff like that. So for you guys that are in, you know, relationships, that's an important thing. You know, spiritual, maybe it's doing some yoga, maybe it's doing some meditation, whatever that happens to be for you. You know, mental, for me, I call that my mental nutrition, the books that I'm going to read, how many I want to read. I know Dallas had a great goal starting off this year that she was going to read 1 book a week, and I know she's been smashing them out. And I can only imagine the growth that's giving her, you know, reading a book a week, which is just extraordinary. Then you've got your family goals, things that you want to do with your family. They could be holidays. They could be special times that you want to spend with them. I know for us, we, you know, with business and running, you know, a business like this that's international and also, our other businesses that we have, we make sure that we pencil in family time. So Thursday night is our family night during the week. Phones are off and we just play games and do all that sort of stuff. And I don't answer any phone calls or anything like that. And then you've got your financial and business goals, where you want to be. And obviously within Herbalife, you can use the marketing plan for that. I want to be a supervisor by X amount of time. I want to be well teamed by this time, or I'd like to be earning, approximately $2,000 a month by this part of time, or in 10 years' time, I want to have a $5,000 a month residual income, whatever that happens to be. So you can break your goals up, into that circle very, very easily. The other thing that can help you do your goals, and we're not going to obviously do this, right on the call now, because you want to take around about, quite honestly, a good hour to do this. You don't want to rush through your goals because you want them to mean something to you. So you actually want to sit down in a quiet spot, and this could be done over a period of a couple of weeks, where you just write down, I've got my goal book here. It's just my personal goal book, and in here I've just got my goals written down, some different things in those areas, and I'm always adding to them. I'm always looking at them and seeing where I want to be. But something that you can look at, and these are some areas that you want to think about. What are some of the things that you want to do and see? Do you want to go to the pyramids? Do you want to do a safari in Africa? Are you looking to walk the streets of Rome, or have dinner in Paris, or whatever it happens to be? These are all the things that you might want to do, things that you might want to see. You might want to, see the Eiffel Tower. You might want to see the Statue of Liberty, whatever that happens to be. It's things that, you want to do in your life and have a little bit of a tick off. Things that you want to have, and that could be, you can apply that to lots of things. Maybe you want to have a six-pack. Maybe you want to have a better personality. Maybe you want to have a nice car. Maybe you want to have a house on the beach, whatever that happens to be, investment properties, whatever. What do you want to become? Maybe you want to become a good leader. Maybe you want to become a good mentor. Maybe you want to be a great father, a great partner. Maybe you want to become a tennis player. Maybe you want to learn how to play the piano. I don't know. All these different things. And then the other one to think about is, what do you want to give? If you were financially free, what were some of the things that you'd give? Would you go and work in a shelter? Would you go and do some work for a charity? Would you, volunteer at a school? I don't know. All these things. But these are just some segments to help you get around planning some goals. Because for a lot of people, writing down goals is really, really hard because they've never done it before. But it's a really good thing to do for yourself. And they can be, they don't have to be big way out goals. I would definitely put in some that, make you stretch to think about it. Hey, to have, could be a cleaner, could be a cook, could be someone to come and mow your lawns. Could be any of that sort of stuff. I want to have a spa day once a week. I don't know. Doesn't have to be big major things. It could be just, I want to have somebody cook for us, once a week, or I want to have a house cleaner come in once a week. Whatever it happens to be, they don't have to be major things. A new dishwasher, but you have some of those little things by all means, but also have some, bigger vision as well. Then what you want to do when you've got those goals, so, write down, you should be able to come up, easily with 10 or 15 things in each area if you really start playing the game. And the best way I know to do goal setting is to take money out of the equation. Don't use money as the equation. If money wasn't an issue, what sort of car would you want to drive? If money wasn't an issue, what sort of holiday would you love to go on? If I said, here's $100,000 to spend on a holiday, where would you go? Right? You got $100,000 to spend on it. So take the finance out of the equation, because quite often people will sit there and go, I would drive a Ford Festiva. I'm pretty sure if I gave you $1 million and said you had to spend a big portion of that on a car, there'd be very few of you that would go out and buy a Ford Festiva. Okay, even if you're not a car person, you'd buy a Beamer, or you'd buy something that was, a little bit luxurious. So take money out of the equation, and it's good to do that because then you start to dream and have a little bit of fun as well. I know a couple of guys in Herbalife that have brought islands. There you go. One guy brought an island off the coast of Fiji and it cost him 1.3 million, which is nothing. You know, you can't even buy a decent house in Queensland on the waterfront for 1.3 million. And he went and brought an island off the coast of Fiji for 1.3 million. Just goes to show you can buy islands cheaper than you can buy houses. So don't be afraid to dream a little bit and thing. Here's what I do know. When you're setting goals and you're dreaming, whether they're small goals and small dreams or big goals and big dreams, they take exactly the same time to think about them, okay? But if you're thinking about, you know, what it would be like, close your eyes and imagine what it would be like driving that Ford Festiva versus closing your eyes and imagine what it would be like driving a Ferrari, I'm pretty sure one of them is going to give you a little bit more of the hair standing up than the other. You know, think about going on a holiday to Paris, going via first class the entire way versus economy. Now, if you close your eyes, it's pretty easy to picture economy because most of us have done that at some point in time, and you like this and it's all claustrophobic. Then I want you to think about in first class, laying down on that bed, getting champagne served to you. One of them's going to make you smile a little bit more than the other. So don't be afraid to stretch that out. Then what you want to do is put a little bit of time frame near those goals. 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, and 10 year. Put a little time frame. You don't have to give it a lot of thought to start off with, but you certainly want to go, yeah, I'd like to achieve that in a year, maybe 3. Oh, yeah, that's probably 10. Put a little bit of a time frame next to each of those goals, okay? Then what you want to do is you want to look at the balance. You know, is it a nice, even balance? And if you're using the circle of life, is there a nice, even balance on how many goals you got? You know, some people have, you know, a whole bunch of goals in physical, areas, but they've got very little in family or finance. Well, that means that your wheel's out of whack. It's got to be a nice, even balance. So again, it's got to be balanced with your goals, with your time frame as well. So for example, if you've got a lot of 1 year goals, chances are you don't have, you're struggling with long-term thinking. If you've got short-term goals, yeah, I want to earn this in a year, do this in a year, do this in a year, do this in a year, you're not thinking the big picture down the track. You're just thinking 12 months from now, if I can achieve this, 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 and this, instead of thinking, okay, if I can achieve this in 12 months, then I could possibly achieve that in 5 years. And oh my God, I could possibly achieve that in 10. So we find that most people that have got short-term goals lack the big picture. Vice versa, if you get people that have got a lot of long-term goals but very few short-term goals, they're normally a little bit of a procrastinator, right? They're a bit scared in getting going. Oh, yeah, well, I'll leave it for 10 years. Then I've got plenty of time to get there. You know, if I get that new dishwasher in 10 years, then that's great. Maybe not. You know what I mean? So you want to make sure, again, that the balance throughout your goals are evenly spread out over those 1 to 10 years, okay? Then what you want to do is you want to choose 4 from each of those groups that we talked about. So I've written down 16 because there was 4 groups, but you might have 6 groups, 8 groups. That's entirely up to you. But you want to choose 3 or 4 goals from each of those groups, okay, that are the most important. So if you've got 10 goals, you know, for your physical, what are the 4 most important to you? What are the 4? If you could only pick 4 of those goals, what would they be? Okay. Now you've got 16 goals. And again, you want them evenly spaced out from 1 to 10 years. Now you've got 16 goals over 10 years. That's your stepping stones. That's all you've got to do now is achieve those goals one at a time, one at a time, one at a time. And over the next 10 years, by achieving 16 of your top goals, can you imagine what you would have achieved? And that's what you can do with goal setting, okay? Then what you want to do, the next step, so that's setting your goals, right? Writing them out in the areas that we talked about, and you can add more areas to it, that's no problems, okay? Getting a list of goals, and you want a whole heap. Then you want to, you know, put the time frame next to them and make sure that the balance of time is spread out nicely. Then you want to grab 4 from each area, so 4 from 1 year, 4 from 5 years, 4 from 3 years, the most important goals, put them in a group. And now that's your stepping stones. Now what you want to do is go to the next level and have a detailed description of those goals. The more real it becomes in here, the more real it's going to happen out there in the marketplace. There's no two ways about that. You know, thoughts become things. What you think about comes about. If you constantly keep thinking about something, you tend to do the activity that leads you towards that goal because you're constantly thinking about it. You know, it's no secret that my dream car is the SS Camaro. Everybody knows about it. Everybody's known about it for 20 years. And there is no doubt in my mind that within the next 3 to 4 years, my goal was 52. I haven't quite reached it. So 55 is the new time frame I put on it. I will be driving my SS Camaro. There's no two. And I know the color. I know the bone interior. I know the type of mags. I know the type of the engine. I know the transmission. I know everything about it. It's in here 100%. Plus, I have pictures everywhere of it. So I've got a detailed description of what it's going to look like. And I guarantee you, when you see me rock up in it, it will be absolutely pinpoint perfect to what I've pictured in here over the last 20 years to what I want that to look like. And if you do that with all of your goals, they start to become an incredible vision in your head. Because at the end of the day, whatever you focus on is what you're going to be, you know, is what's going to happen for you. That's what's going to draw you towards those goals. And the more visual they are, you know, as humans, we're very visual people. And the more we see it, the more we start to believe in it, okay? And so you want to get that detailed description. Then the most important part of all of this, right, is the why section. You've got to have a section in there of why. The most important part. Why do you want that goal? Why do you want that house? Why do you want to lose that 10 kilos? Why do you want to earn, you know, X amount of dollars per month? Why do you want 2 rental properties? Okay. There's got to be a really, really strong reason. Now, depending on where you are in your age bracket, depends on what that why might be. I look back at some of my old goals when I was in my 20s, and they make me just laugh today. I look at them and think, what was I thinking when I was in my 20s? Oh, my God, I was crazy. But they were my goals back then, and they inspired me, and they got me working. You know, they got me going. You know, one of my goals when I was young was to be driving a Porsche before I was 25. It was just one of my things that I always wanted, and I did it. I achieved it. You know, I wanted to do a safari. I achieved that. And you guys have done this before. Most of you have achieved goals. And for a lot of you, you've achieved them without even writing them down. And I tell you why you did, because they were in here. But when you put them from in here and onto paper, it's like a double whammy, okay? You've got the visual in here, you've got it written out, and then what you do is you put a plan in place to achieve those goals. But if the why is not strong enough to pull you forward, something's going to knock you off. I can guarantee you something will stop you. Okay, it'll be this, that, the negative partner, you know, oh my God, if it wasn't for my work, oh my God, if it wasn't for my children, all the reasons of why you want to achieve something then become the reasons why you don't achieve it. You know, quite often people go, I need this business to work because I can't stand my job. I've got to get out of my job. It's soul destroying. It's killing me. And then 6 months later, it's like, oh, I just haven't had time to do the business because of my job. So the reason you wanted to get out of it became the reason why you're stuck in it. And I've seen people do that with children as well. I want to get out of this because I want to be able to spend more time with my kids and, you know, and that. Then all of a sudden, it's, oh, I haven't got time to do the business because of my kids. So you've used what was once a reason why, which is now your excuse not to. So you've got to be really careful on that and have a strong why that keeps pulling you forward. Otherwise, you do get knocked off your charter. It's very, very easy. For me, it's what we call freedom from and freedom to. For most of us, your goal should be freedom from something that you don't like so that you've got the freedom to do something that you do like, all right? And again, it could be as simple as a cleaner. I want a cleaner so I don't have to clean anymore. I want the freedom to not have to clean so I can have the freedom to spend more time with my family. I want to have the freedom financially so that I don't have to have a job. I want to have the freedom from, you know, only being able to afford a $5,000 a year holiday to a $20,000 a year holiday, whatever it happens to be. But freedom from and freedom to are two really soul-searching words that if you think about it, most of the reason why we're reaching for this is because we don't want this. We want freedom from that, to have the freedom to do that. And so that's my little way of, keeping my whys very strong in front of me of why I want to do that. And your why is your why. And there can be some really silly ones. And I'm going to share one with you, right? And it might sound totally crazy to all of you, but it almost makes me want to cry thinking about it, okay? One of the main reasons I want that Camaro is because Cody wants me to pick him up from school in it. He said, Dad, I would be like the coolest kid in school if you pick me up in that Camaro. And so every now and then when I get a little bit lazy in my thinking, I think to myself, what's it going to be like if I never do it? All this time I've been telling him we're going to get a Camaro, we're going to get a Camaro. And what if he gets to 18 or 19 and Dad never got that Camaro? He never got to experience getting picked up at school in a Camaro. He never got to experience riding in one. And then he starts to think, well, my dad said it was going to happen and it never did. So why should I dream if my dad's dreams don't come true? So all of a sudden, it starts playing on my mind that if I don't go for my goals and achieve them, then what am I telling my kids? Go for these goals, but if you never achieve them, well, doesn't matter. And I'm not saying achieving goals is everything, and it doesn't have to be always and it's not always going to be in the time frame that you want, okay? I certainly, had some goals that I thought, sorry, that was a fly. I certainly had a lot of goals that I thought the time frame would happen faster than it did, but it hasn't. But I haven't given up on going for those goals. But the important thing about, as adults, of us going for our goals is also to show our kids that if you go for something and you don't give up, eventually you're going to get there, okay? And it's really important to set that standard with our children as well, so that they learn how to set goals and understand it's okay if it's not always the time frame, but still have the goal and the reason in front of you. And while that might sound like a silly reason to you guys, picking up Cody in the Camaro from school, I'm telling you right now, it gets my butt into working every day when I think about it, because I think about how sad is he going to be if that never happens. And I don't want him to be sad because I promised something that never happened. So sometimes with your goals, it's good to voice them out to other people that are goal-orientated. My advice is, if you've got people in your life that aren't goal-orientated, do not tell them your goals. Keep them to yourself, because there's always going to be what we call dream stealers, people that you'll share your goals and they will pull you down at every opportune moment. So what you're best off doing with those people is not sharing your goals with them, but sharing them with other people that are goal-orientated, because they will be the ones going, yeah, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it, let's go, let's go, let's go. They're going to be the ones going, oh, come on, don't be stupid. You're never going to get one of those. Just come out Saturday night to the party. Don't worry about it, And that's just an example, but, just be careful who you share your goals with. Sharing them with people that are goal-orientated is a great idea. Sharing them with people that aren't goal-orientated tends to slow you down and pull you back, because they're going to constantly, so have you reached your goal yet? So have you got your Camaro yet? So have you got your Camaro yet? And they'll do it in a sarcastic form. So people that know I'm getting that Camaro, people know that I'm goal-orientated, and I know they're goal-orientated. But there's a lot of people I have never told that goal to, because I think to myself, I know every time I see them, they'll go, I notice you haven't got your Camaro yet. So, you know what I mean? Be smart with that type of stuff. But here's the main thing, guys. The main reason for achieving goals is because of the person you have to become to achieve them. Quite often, Carmen and I will take the kids out and we'll go and, go to opens, $1 million, $2 million homes and stuff like that. We love going down along the waterfront of Merino and Hallett Cove and Semaphore and going into those big mansions and stuff. And the kids are walking around going, that's our bedroom, that's our bedroom. No, I've got this one, you've got that one. And I want this one, because this way I can just walk out the front door and jump straight in the pool. So can I have this one, Dad? Can I? And we love doing that. You know why? Because all I can think about is, what sort of person does Andrew Foote have to become to be able to live in a house like this? What do I need to learn? What skills do I need to learn? What qualities do I need to have? What leadership qualities, what business qualities do I need to have? And the fact that there's a house like that for sale means somebody has got that skill set to buy that house. So why not me? I've just got to get the skill set. And I get that skill set through personal development. It's the only way you can get it, okay? Unless you get lucky. Otherwise, for most of us, the only way we're ever going to move forward financially is through our own hard work and our own effort, okay? And in something that's going to be, pay-worthy, which we're all in with Herbalife. So the thing I want to finish off with is this here. And this is what I was talking about earlier. This is you over here, okay? And this is the obstacles in your way from over here. Now, I've used business goals with Herbalife. You can put whatever goals you want in here. Take a screenshot of this and you can change the wording to whatever you want. But at the end of the day, this is you. And then there's this mountain that you've got to get over to get to your goals. Now, when you're at the bottom here, it's really, really hard to see the goals on the other side because there's all these obstacles in here, okay? Work, family, time, skill, whatever obstacles you want to put in there, mother-in-law, father-in-law, whatever you want to put in there. But the only way that you here can learn the skills to get over this, what I call the action mountain, because you've got to do the action to get over it, to get to the goals. You can't just float up here. It's not osmosis, right? Is through what? Affirmations, constantly telling yourself what your goals are so they keep you on track. And then the books and the audios and the trainings. If you don't do personal development, there's no way of getting over these obstacles. That's what personal development is. Personal development is not about how many books you read. It's not about how many tapes you listen to, okay? I could recite 500 books, but have I put all of that into action? Obviously not, because I haven't reached all my goals yet, okay? But if I did put all that stuff into action, as I'm learning to try and do the best that I can to get over each of these obstacles. And there's going to be different obstacles that you come up against as you're along the way. Now, the great thing about a business like Herbalife is that you have a lot of mentors that some of them are a little bit further up this hill than what you are. And the great thing is that they can say, hey, here, take my hand. I'll help you get up to here. Because when you're up here, the view of what you can see over here is a lot clearer. And each time you get up a little bit higher up this mountain, the clearer the view of your goals become. All of a sudden, the obstacles become challenges that you know you can overcome. They're no longer something that is a block. It's like, okay, my next challenge is to overcome this. This is the skill set that I need to learn to overcome this. I'm now going to go and learn that skill set. Whatever that skill set is. Talking to people, knowing how to do a presentation, showing them how to use the products correctly, doing a wellness evaluation, all of that sort of stuff. Could be how to run a challenge, how to run a fit club, whatever it happens to be. It doesn't matter. It's whatever these obstacles are. And the only way that I know, and this is just my viewpoint, but it's shared by a lot of people that are pretty successful, is the only way to get over these obstacles is through personal development. Okay? There's no other way to get over them, whatever those obstacles are, okay? So, for example, and one obstacle opens up another obstacle. So I'll give you a new example. I want to start going to the gym. I want to start putting on some muscle, and I'm going to start getting healthy. Obstacle number one, I need to start to eat better. So I've got to give up some of the junk food. So there's obstacle number one that I've got to give up. Obstacle number two is I now have to start enjoying healthy food. So one obstacle is giving up the bad food. The second obstacle is I now have to start enjoying good food if I'm not that way inclined. I'm going to go to the gym, that's it. Obstacle number one, I've got to now sign up with the gym. You go and sign up with the gym. The next obstacle is what? Turning up. Now you've got to get yourself out of bed. You've got to get dressed. You've got to actually go to the gym. And then you've got to go in. And then you got to learn how to use the machines, and you got to start lifting some weights, and you got to start doing some star jumps. So it opens up another set of obstacles. So obstacles are always going to be there, but what you want is a set of obstacles that make you grow. And each time you get over one obstacle, there's going to be another one that takes you to the next step and the next step. So if you think about it along those terms, that when you get over one obstacle, it's just going to give you another one, but it's an obstacle that you want. because that's the next one that you've got to jump. So with the gym, you give up one obstacle, which is I've now registered. The second one becomes, and so forth and so forth. And you can do that with all of your circle of goals, your physical goals, your spiritual goals, your mental goals, all of that. But you need to gather information and have clearly defined goals. Once you've got the goal, work out the plan that's needed to achieve it, and then execute it. It's as simple as that. Now, and when I say as simple as that, it is simple. The only thing stopping you is this, right? It's the mental game that we play on ourselves, that I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, maybe I can't do it, maybe it's not for me. And you'll start justifying it instead of saying, no, that's the goal. This is what I need to learn. I'm now going to learn it, and I'm going to put it into practice day by day. And I guarantee you, as you do, those obstacles become easier and easier to get over. And the great thing is that if you're working alongside with a mentor, then you're going to get up those obstacles a lot faster, because they can probably show you some ways that they use to help you get over that, and it might help you. Or they can at least direct you in the right direction to get that information. Now, I'm pretty sure, yep, it is. That is my last slide. So, guys, that's all I really wanted to cover tonight. It was just a quick goal-setting exercise. As I said, there's lots of different ones online that you can look to. I would suggest, looking up Jim Rohn, Les Brown, all of those sort of guys. Jack Canfield, another great one, Chicken Soup for the Soul, has a great goal-setting exercise that he does. But the most important thing is to write them down, have a visual of what they are, clearly defined, and then have a really major why behind them. So I hope some of this has helped you along the way, and I certainly look forward to seeing you guys achieve all your goals in the future. So let me just hit the stop record.